rotating crop soilless is commonly regarded as a new way of farming across the world. It has, however, been in existence for thousands of years, dating back to 600 BC in Babylon and China. In Babylon, the owners of the gardens built along Euphrates River. They would install a chain system that would pull the water from the river through the system and trickle it down into the gardens. In China, they built rafts out of reeds and roots. These rafts were topped off with a bit of soil from the bottom of the lake and then floated out to the center of the water. Crops would then grow on top of the rafts, their roots reaching through the rafts and down into the water. Fast forward to the 21st century and hydroponics farming is becoming the go-to method for city dwellers across the world and in Kenya. Emily Mugambi of Hydroponics Africa takes us through this new way of farming and everything you need to know to start hydroponics farming.
My name is Emily Mugambi. This is Hydroponics Africa. Basically, hydroponics means farming without use of soil. And we are in Zambezi. Zambezi is along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway, just a few kilometers from Kikuyu town before Limuru town. Hydroponics has various benefits, and this includes use of limited space. You don't require huge tracts of land for you to do hydroponics farming. And then it's smart farming, it's clean farming. We do not use soil, meaning you don't have to get dirty when you're farming. And then hydroponics saves up to 80% water. Also, in places where there is a scarcity of water, then hydroponics comes in handy. And then there's faster growth because of the nutrients that the crops are fed with. And faster growth means shorter farming cycles, meaning a farmer can be able to recoup their investments at a faster rate. And other than that, there is increased output on a farmer farms. That means they're able to get more returns, enough to feed their household and enough to sell to make an extra income.
In hydroponics, there are various units suited to different farmers.
With hydroponics, we have various units. We have actually two different units. One is the crop unit, and then you have the livestock unit. So for crop units, you can do various leafy vegetables as well as herbs. And we have different systems that a farmer can adopt. One, depending on the size of the space they have, and then depending with the need they have, like if they want to do it for household purpose or for commercial purpose. So that's how we differentiate our various units.
The first unit is the nutrient film technique, commonly known as NFT.
We have one like what we call the nutrient film technique. In short terms, set it, forget it, because such a unit is automated, meaning you do not have to spend labor on it. You just have to set your pump and water will flow through the crops, and you just have to come check how your crops are doing, and it makes your work easier. What you do, you have to put a pump that pumps water from the storage tank into the crop, and then the small black pipes feed the water through the plastic caps that are holding the inert media together with the crop. So when you're watering your unit, you have to put your hydroponics nutrients into the water. And then when now the pump goes on, the water flows through together with the nutrients up to the last crop, and now that water is recycled back into the reservoir tank. And that's how this particular system saves on water, because the excess water flows back to the reservoir tank. And then this particular unit is good for lettuce, like what you've grown here. You can do broccoli, you can do cauliflower, you can as well do your spinach and kale.
Why the plastic cups?
They are to hold the media for you to be able to plant the crop, because the water is pumped into the pipe. So if you just put your inert media, it means it will be clogged towards one end and water will not be able to flow. So the plastic cups have holes to help water seep through to gather the nutrients up to the last crop. This particular unit can hold up to 450 crops in a particular planting season. And if you're planting something like lettuce, within 2.5 months you've harvested your lettuce and replanted again. So as I mentioned, shorter cycles with increased returns.
Intercropping is also something this unit encourages.
The beauty with hydroponics is that you can intercrop your vegetables. For this particular system, you can do 2 lines of lettuce, 2 lines of broccoli, 2 lines of say spinach. There is no problem with that because the hydroponics nutrients are universal in all the vegetables that you plant. So it's depending with the need that a farmer has, she or he can always intercrop. There is no effect.
When planting with soil, pests and diseases are common. Is this the same case with hydroponics?
For this one, it's mostly due to the reduced labor. You don't have to do anything else. As long as you've set your timer and your pump correctly, water will flow throughout. You just have to come and add your nutrients because that's critical for the crop, and then come and harvest your crops. And I mentioned that with hydroponics, there's reduced pests and diseases. So you just have to come check on the progress of your crop. So for somebody who does not have time to keep tending to their crop, then this is the best unit for them.
Can one do this indoors?
You can do hydroponics indoors, but now you need to do artificial lighting for the crops to be able to get enough light for them to grow well.
Water is an important part of hydroponics, especially when it comes to this automatic system. What kind of reservoir does one need?
For the reservoir, depending with the size of the tank that you have, with the hydroponics nutrients, you can recycle them up to 2 weeks without any effect on the crop. So after 2 weeks, in case there is any excess water remaining, then you have to remove that water and put fresh water. But what we advise our farmers is get a sizable tank depending with the size of the units that you have, so that you don't have to waste water at the end of the 2 weeks.
The second unit is the kitchen garden, and it is most suitable for anyone who wants to maximize the space on their balcony.
This is what we call a kitchen garden, especially for people who have a small space outside their houses. As you can see, it's watered manually, and this system has been here for almost 2 years now, as you can see from the stem. It's best for strawberries and also for spinach. You can also do your kales in such a system. So major benefit is that it's easy to maintain as well, and it's not expensive to set it up. Like for such a particular system, setting up goes for only 30,000 with everything: the seeds, the inert media, and the piping system. This one is not automated, so you have to water it manually every time. But the other unit is automated, meaning this has more labor as compared to the other unit. This is very good for strawberries, spinach, and kales. It can accommodate up to 300 crops closely spaced. The beauty with hydroponics is that most of the pests come from use of soil. So when you're not using soil, there's reduced pest and diseases. But in case there's infection, then we advise our farmers to use biopesticides, which are less harmful as compared to normal pesticides.